who are the undefeated wrestlers going into the national tournament? Well, there are 7 undefeated wrestlers who are the number 1 seeds at their weight classes. But there are a couple other guys who aren't the number 1 seeds who are still undefeated. And I thought this would be fun to talk about because, it's always fun to see who is undefeated on the year. So, of course, you guys probably know Bo Nickal, Jason Nolf, but who are these other guys? I'm going to go down each weight class and tell you who is undefeated. Starting at 125 pounds, you have Nick Piccinini of Oklahoma State, who's undefeated. He's 30-0 on the season. His significant wins over most recently, especially as at the number 3 seed right now, he pinned him in the dual meet. I think Pitch is looking great this year. His really only competition, if he meets Spencer Lee in the semifinals, and if he beats him, if he wins that match, he will probably have Sebastian Rivera in the finals. But I'm not counting any of these other guys out. You have Vitalia Rouge of Cornell, who I think is a bracket buster on the top half of the bracket, as well as a couple other guys who I think could really, really make some noise. But Pitch is 30-0. Another guy who I think could do pretty well, undefeated at 125 pounds, is Jack Muller. Jack Muller of UVA is number 5 seed. He's 17-0. Now, he is an ACC champion, and his toughest opponent right now, his toughest win is against Fowles of NC State, and he beat him earlier in the year. Now, Muller is actually the lowest seeded guy who is undefeated. So most of these guys, you see the number 1 guy in 7 of these weights being undefeated, but he's the lowest number 5 at the number 5 seed, 17-0. At 133 pounds, you have Stephane Meatrix at the number 2 seed. Now, he's also a guy who's not number 1. I think he could be, but because he didn't wrestle, he wrestled 1 match at Big Ten's last week. Because of that, it kind of hurt his seeding a little bit, giving him the number 2 spot, running into a couple guys beforehand in the quarters, semifinals. But right now, Stephane Meatrix is 14-0. He beat Suriano, the number 3 seed, as well as number 5, Luke Pletcher. And the other big thing is he beat the number 1 seed at 125 pounds in Sebastian Rivera earlier in the year in a nice super duel. A nice super match, I should say. So Meatrix, number 2 at 133, still undefeated from Michigan. At 141 pounds, Yanni Hollis of Cornell is 24-0. Right now in the pound for pound, he is the number 4 guy. He has wins. He had a nice win over Joey McKenna a couple of weeks ago, and he is actually the EIWA champion. He dominated his way through that tournament, and I see him winning nationals this year, staying undefeated. Let me know as I'm going through these, which guys will stay undefeated at the end of the year. I'll give you my predictions in just a bit, but going into 149 pounds, you have Anthony Ashdod, who I believe has some of the most quality wins out of all these guys in every weight class. So Ashdod at 149 pounds from Rutgers is 27-0 and looking to be Rutgers' first national champion. Of course, we have a couple other guys in contention, such as Nick Suriano, also looking to be a national champion. But Ashdod has looked really well this year. He has wins over number 2, Micah Jordan of Ohio State, number 3, Fine Silver, as well as number 5, Kolodzic. He has wins over all these guys who at the time, I believe he beat Jordan at the time he beat Kolodzic. They were the number 1 seeds, and he just worked his way up this year to show his dominance. The only guy in the top 5 he doesn't have a win against is number 4 seed, Jack Muller of Missouri. Will he stay undefeated at the end of the year? At 157 pounds, you have the number 1 seed, Jason Nolf, who's undefeated. He's 26-0. He's a Hodge contender, the number 1 in the pound-for-pound rankings. Right behind him is Beau Nickel. But guys, he has won 22 matches this year by bonus points, and he has over 100 pins. I believe he has over 100 pins in his career. That's pretty solid for Jason Nolf. He has over 100 wins. I know that. I don't know about pins, but 22 bonus point victories this year. At 165 pounds, we have Alex Marinelli, the number 1 seed, who's 23-0. And this is a man on a mission. It's his dominance, the way that he handled Vincenzo Joseph in the upper body match, really, with those over-under hooks. I'm scared of what he's going to do this year at Nationals. I really am. I think he's going to do very well. 23-0 with wins against Evan Wick. 3 wins against him this year, as well as Vincenzo Joseph. Evan Wick is the number 3 seed. He also has won over Josh Shields. So, looking pretty good. At 174 pounds, Mark Hall, another Penn State guy who's undefeated, 26-0. He's number 3 in the pound-for-pound rankings from Flow Wrestling, and he has wins over Zahid Valencia as well as Miles Amin. He does not have a win, however, against Daniel Lewis of Missouri. How will he do against him if they wrestle at Nationals? Will he stay undefeated if they wrestle? Because remember, Lewis pinned Zahid Valencia. At 184 pounds, the number 1 seed again is Myles Martin. Myles Martin is 20-0. Myles Martin from Ohio State. He's the number 5 guy in the pound-for-pound rankings right now overall. He has wins over number 4, Emery Parker, number 9, Venz, as well as number 7, Renan, number 5, Dean. He does not have wins against number 2, Shakur Rashid. Not his fault. Rashid hasn't wrestled him this year. He had 2 times to wrestle him. Hasn't wrestled him, as well as he hasn't wrestled Zach Zavacki at the number 3 seed. But this is another guy, just like Ashdod, who I think he's had some incredibly great quality wins over the top 10 guys in the bracket, and I see him doing well this week. And also in this weight, who's another guy, one of the only 2 weight classes that has 2 undefeated guys, is Shakur Rashid, who's 18-0. He has the most notable wins over number 9, Taylor Venz, at the Big Ten tournament, but he missed part of the season due to injury, so that's, he hasn't wrestled some of these guys, and he's, some may say dodged Myles Martin, and if you want to say dodged, go for it, because I'm not too happy about that. As a Penn State fan, I'm not too happy that I didn't get to see him wrestle Myles Martin yet this year, and I don't know what to expect. At 197 pounds, we have 2 undefeated guys just as well, just like the last weight. First is Beau Nickel, who I think will stay undefeated for sure, 25-0. Number 2 pound for pound, Hodge contender, Bo Nickal. He has won 23 out of his 25 matches this year by bonus, similar to Jason Nolf. 15 pins, including a pin over number 2, Colin Moore. What a season, what a career for this guy. And then also undefeated is number 3, Preston Weigel of Oklahoma State. He's 11-0. I don't believe he's wrestled a lot of the year, but 11-0 with wins over number 5, Jacob Warner from Iowa, and number 6, Willie Miklas from ISU. So Weigel, I think, on the other side of the bracket from Bo Nickal at the number 3 seed, I think he can do very well in possibly making the finals. That would be a nice weight class where we would get to see 2 undefeated guys going up against each other in the finals if it happens. We've seen it happen before, and I love those type of matches because both of them have everything to gain and everything to lose, with being undefeated. But going on to heavyweight, this is the only weight class where there is no undefeated wrestler. And we have Stephenson, who could have been undefeated, 31-0, but a little guy called Anthony Gassar beat him in the Big Ten Finals. And Anthony Gassar is not undefeated, even though he's a Big Ten champion. He lost to number 1, Derek White from Oklahoma State. So this is a great weight class to see how everybody does. Now, who will stay undefeated out of all these guys? Well, I have 7 of them staying undefeated. So 7 undefeated wrestlers. There are 12 in total. 7 out of 12 will stay undefeated. So we have Stephane Meatrix, I have staying undefeated if he stays healthy. Yanni at 141. Anthony Ashdod doing really well for Rutgers. Think he'll stay undefeated. Jason Nolf, Mark Hall, Myles Martin, and Bo Nickal. I think all of these guys will stay undefeated on the season and win national titles. That would be a great year, and I really don't know the last time that we've had that many undefeated wrestlers. I remember last year there was the top seed, I believe, was an undefeated wrestler at every weight class, and that was really cool to see because guess what? Not all of the not all of the number 1 guys always win, and that's what I'm most excited about. Make sure to let me know, who do you think will stay undefeated at the end of the year?